This program is made possible by the loyal financial support of the friends and partners of Family Policy Institute.
Good evening and welcome. I'm here in the Carolissen home and I'm talking to Michael and Jill about a fantastic vision that God laid on their heart to make a difference in one of the communities here around the Durbanville area. Fisantekraal is a community that needs so much, and here's a couple that God has spoken to directly about touching that community. Jill, Michael, welcome. I want to talk to you about this fantastic vision. How did it all start?
Well, actually, Lucia, it's about 5 years in the making. About 5 years ago, God spoke to Michael and I individually just to have a center where we wanted to work with vulnerable and orphan children. As a family and husband and wife, we've always had a heart for children, especially hurting children. And, you know, people that know us will always know that our home is overrun with kids at any given moment. And so, yeah, you know, God had then at that point given us this vision, which was very big. And it was, you know, how do we then get from where we were there to this big double-story center that God had just given to us in dreams? And so I think at the time, maybe just out of a little bit of fear and misunderstanding and the fact that our kids were quite young, we sort of parked it. And then God, as God does, decided to light a fire under us.
Yeah.
We couldn't get off that easily. And last year, we ended up actually fostering two little boys, a 6-year-old and 11-year-old, who at the time their dad had passed away and their mother was suffering from stage 4 cancer.
Sure.
And that was really almost, it was, I think from the time that we heard about what was happening to the time the boys moved in with us was also about 2 weeks, so definitely a God-ordained thing. And while the boys were in our home, it was really, you know, it just lit a fire again for us for that urge and that drive to want to look after and help hurting children.
Sure.
While they were with us, we actually had pastors who were sent to us to come and pray with us. During that time, completely, you know, they hadn't known us from a bar of soap. They were sent to us from a church called Journey of Grace. And they came to us in August last year. And when they met with us, I think they were in our home for about 15 minutes.
About 5 minutes,
yeah.
actually.
And they've both got a great prophetic ministry.
Yes.
And they said to us that we really feel that this is the first step. What you're doing here, you know, fostering these boys is trial by fire, something that you had to go through because it's the first step of a much longer journey that God is taking you on. And then they said, you know, the vision and the dream that God gave you, He's still saying that is real. You thought that it wasn't for you, but it is for you. And He's going to give us the desires of our hearts, which was to work with children. And He's going to bring it to pass, and we should pray. So we were obviously very shocked. I think Michael was like
shocked, scared, very excited.
Yeah.
But because we at that time were already working in children's ministry.
Okay.
And the interesting part of it, because we were in children's ministry, we thought we were already fulfilling the purpose that God had given us.
Oh,
Only
sure.
to find out, you know, what we had actually thought about 5 years ago was still to come.
So basically we realized when this was said to us from complete strangers that it was really from God. And so we spent the next couple of months just praying and seeking God's face and asking, okay, what do you want us to do? Tell us exactly how we're going to flesh this out, because we still had no clue.
Yeah.
And we even went back to this. Pastors came back to us in November
Yeah,
and gave us another word.
But basically what had happened is, because I've always wanted to do this, there was just this niggling inside that I had to actually go and meet with the pastor again. And in meeting with him, we had a discussion over coffee, and he said, you know, the vision is getting here is this massive center where you're going to be the father of many. You and Jill are going to impact the lives of these kids, but also this is going to happen in March.
Wow.
And I looked at him and I was like, this is November 2018. And I said, oh, March 2020. And he said, no, March 2019. And I was shocked. I laughed and I said, okay, I'll go and tell the wife.
Yeah, so we were a little bit like, maybe he got his lines mixed up.
Yeah.
Basically, we just prayed over December, January. Yes. In January, my brother asked me just to assist him. He's a businessman, entrepreneur. And I said to him, you know, I'm happy to join, but just know that there's something God has in the horizon for us. And when it does come, I'm going to have to drop you and we're going to have to go. He said, okay, fine. He inquired a bit. At that point, we hadn't told anybody about what was going on because we were just still trying to figure out exactly what it is God wanted. When we explained to him we wanted to have a centre where we worked with orphans and vulnerable children, he said, well, he knows of somebody who works with a foundation that sows into these type of ministries. He'll set up a meeting. And so we went, a bit hesitantly, I will say, because we were also like, we have no business proposal, we have no model, we have no nothing. Now we're going to go and sit
We had a vision.
with these people. Yeah, but I mean, they were just so gracious and accommodating. They basically gave us the advice of just, there are so many organizations in this space already. Just get a little bit of each person, look at what they do, the pros and the cons, and then whatever works best, we can sort of build a model on that with prayer, of course.
Oh, wow, amazing. So we're now at this point, there's this big vision, there's this big dream, there's something that's going to happen. You've had to take some bold steps of faith and jump on board. And so what connected you to the area of Fisantekraal?
Well, we were, the church that we belonged to, we were in the children's ministry, we served in the children's ministry as a family, my children as well. And that church had a early learning center in Fisantekraal. So we were aware of the need, we were aware of the community. But really when it came down to it, it was because that's where God told us He wanted us. That pure and simple was actually the real reason. Yeah,
because we actually went back and we thought Fisantekraal. And that's definitely the town that we want to be in because it's close to home, we feel the need, and that was it. However, when we actually looked at the feedback from government with regard to their census done in 2011, the numbers seemed a bit offish for us. And it seemed like it was quite a small town. When we actually journeyed into Fisantekraal and we saw the community and we felt the need, we went back and we prayed and we actually got the right figures. We found out that the figures were so skewed.
Sure.
So we find ourselves in a situation where what we're doing there, we're going to have to do on a mass scale because the need is so great. We've got 50,000 people living in this community. 75% of them are under the age of 20, and there's absolutely nothing for youth. So that's where we need to come in and give them an opportunity away from what they know.
That's amazing. You mentioned your children. Now I know that they are 11 and 13. How do they feel about what's about to happen?
Well, actually, Lucia, everything that we've always done has been in conjunction with our children. They're at an age now where we have family meetings and we discuss things, and they've always been very much aware for the last couple of years that because we pray as a family about what the plan and purpose is of our lives. And even when we fostered last year, even though it was quite a strain on our family, just, the new dynamic and everything, they always understood. They never wanted to throw in the towel or anything like that because they always understood. They would say, but mommy, it's okay because we know that God has called us to this.
Wow.
And also they've just got such a heart for children. And so when we've kept them step by step in everything that's been happening. We tell them all the big things. We celebrate all the victories with them. This journey of faith that God has taken us on. And so they are super excited.
So how did you find the piece of land?
Well, we went in and we were put in touch with Tembi, who's the project manager on the ground. She works for Garden Cities, who owns all of Fisantekraal. And they were the ones that actually we went work closely with them, and they put us in connection with community stakeholders as well. And that's how we basically found the place where we're actually going to be establishing our community centre.
Fantastic. Wow. I can't wait to see this piece of land. Are we going to go take a look?
Yeah, I think that would be a great idea. Let's
Let's
go.
go.
We're talking to John Matthews from Garden Cities. Welcome, John. What does Garden Cities do? Can you tell us some more about your organization?
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity. Garden Cities is a property developer. We've been around for exactly 100 years, as you can see.
Wow.
We're very proud of our heritage in Cape Town.
Yes.
We have developed 14 suburbs within the Western Cape, mostly within Cape Town. Greenville, right next to Fisantekraal, where we are at the moment, is one of our flagship developments that we're looking at. We firmly believe that as property developers, one should be responsible and should be engaging with the communities, because that's what we've done in the last 100 years.
Wow.
Every development that we've built, we include the community and we provide all the facilities rather than just a place where people sleep. It's live, work and play all at the same time. And we need to engage the youth. That's the most important part of our future. So from a Garden Cities perspective, we are very, very excited to be here as a property developer, but because we're also a non-profit company and your group as an NGO, we feel that it would be an ideal opportunity to join hands and to provide services which is much needed in this community where it has been sorely lacking for many, many years.
absolutely amazing. Now, this ground looks like this now, but soon it will be a wonderful center and it's going to impact the community. Are you guys excited about that? And what do you think about that?
We're absolutely excited because part of the challenge that we've had within our communities within the Western Cape is that there are no facilities.
Sure.
You cannot build houses without having to build schools, clinics. After school facilities is the most important to keep the young people off the streets. And that's one of the partnerships that we really, really cherish. And we would like to partner with you, not just on the ground. The ground is but one thing. Our board resolved at the recent board meeting to sell this property as if it's a community property. Therefore, the price that we sold it at was at significantly lower than market value because we believe that this facility would benefit the entire community and particularly the youth. The youth is probably the most important aspect of our population that has been neglected for many, many years. And if we don't do anything about it, it's a ticking time bomb for our whole nation, and we really got to start somewhere, and I think this piece of ground is the ideal place to start.
We're talking to some movers and shakers in the community, Tembi and Auntie Elizabeth. Auntie Elizabeth, what is it that you do here in the community?
I'm an ECD center teacher, a principal. I'm also part of the victim support in our community, and I'm also helping children to get education.
Awesome, amazing. We need that. Now, with that, this center is coming here. Now, how do you feel that this center could help you do what you do?
This center will help me a lot, and not even for me, but for the community also. God put Jill and Michael on in the right place. This is our place and this is our community. This is what we want. We are praying for this for a very, very long time. And I'm so glad that God answered our prayers.
Now, currently you are running from your home. And with a center like this, does it mean that you can come and use the classrooms and start running from the center?
Yes, it will help me a lot because now I can have my home for myself and for my children. So yeah, I'm actually very excited.
Yeah.
Tembi, can you tell us a little bit more about what you do?
Basically, I'm the project manager for this affordable housing, which is Greenville. We are focusing on the low-cost housing. So a house only doesn't serve the community. Hence, I see projects like these as growth to the community. The communities are like very close to my heart. So basically, my job is just to make sure that everyone who deserves a house gets it, and also make sure that they get all the amenities that they need, the schools, the community halls, the churches. So when they first came to me, I mean, for me in my mind, I didn't even have a doubt. I knew, because even at the office, they know me very well. When it comes to Greenville, it's close to my heart. Greenville is just an extension of Fisantekraal, for those that might get confused. But I manage the Greenville, which is a new development. So for me at the office, when I talk about projects that benefit the community, I don't see that there are board members there. They know me very well. I'm very straight, and I know this is going to benefit the community, and I stand for what I need and what I see. For the past 6 years, this community has touched my heart. It's very close to my heart, and I know their needs. Hence, when they came to me, I was like, wow, this is what we need. Yeah.
Immediately one can see that you have a passion for this community and something so exciting happening here. What are some of the things you look forward to that this center will bring to this community?
For me, firstly, I am very close to people that look after orphans, because I have so many in my life that some of them I've even adopted. So when they spoke about looking after orphans and vulnerable kids and grandmothers, making sure the grandmothers are trained to look after the kids or to actually sustain themselves long after they are gone, for me, that's very close to my heart. It talks to home. So that's the one thing that excites me, that these kids are finally going to get something that's going to look after them. Because at the moment, just building houses and letting them move in, if the mother or father passes away, no one is there to look after them. They are just child-headed homes, and they're not going to live the best life.
You can only be excited after speaking to ladies that are making a difference and in anticipation of what the center will do in this community. A center like this can do so much for a community, but how do you think, knowing this community, this centre will impact this community, and what difference will it make?
Look, everything that happens, either good or bad in this community, happens at home. If there's strong family values at a household, then the people living in that house will probably have a very successful life. If there's not strong family values, then the chances for success is always a bit less, as we see with unsocial behavior in this area. The city can only invest so much money. We have outreach programs and these type of things, but a program runs for 3 weeks at the time, and then you come back maybe in 6 months' time, and then you need to run that program again with different people. If you have a footprint in a community like Jill and them, they get the benefits of that. The society gets the benefits, the community gets the benefits, because they walk the whole program with them, not only on an emotional level but also on a financial level with regarding job creation and these type of things.
Fantastic. Now, people like you and even the public out there, how can people get involved with Michael and Jill to make a difference here?
Well, Jill will probably answer that question better than I do. I can just promote them, and I really want them to be here for eternity. I will do whatever I can to make sure that they are happy here and as comfortable as they can be in this area, from a city side and a personal side. But regarding investment and these type of things, I think Jill might be able to answer that better.
Thank you so much, Ruan, for chatting to us. We've got more coming up after this. Welcome back. We are standing on the ground in Fisantekraal. Now, this is 6,000 square meters where the vision will be realized. And this is the land that God has given Michael and Jill to build that vision. And it looks absolutely amazing. Standing here, how do you feel?
Slightly overwhelmed. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've only really, this all has come about in 3 months, and I think just to be able to actually physically stand on the land after 3 months, to have designs and concepts and everything drawn up, we are just so in awe of what God has done. You know, the word speaks about God can do abundantly and exceedingly more than we can ever hope, think, or imagine, and this is proof of that. I mean, this is testimony of that. In 3 months, that we can be standing here with triple the size of land that we had originally asked for, with ground being tilled and soil being done and plans that we can show people. It's been amazing.
That's so awesome. Now, this land, as it stands here, is soon going to be helping vulnerable children, orphans, and this community, and making such a difference. What are you practically going to be doing on this land?
So on a practical level, as you can see, as you said earlier, we're going to be working with orphans and vulnerable children. I mean, if you just look at the community of Fisantekraal, vulnerable children encapsulates pretty much the whole community. And where we come in is we want to actually support the families that look after the orphans and vulnerable children. And we'll be doing that through social skills, through life skills training for the gogos that are looking after the kids. We do Bible studies with them. We run basically about 23 different programs with the families and the children, part of which is education. So the kids will come to us in the afternoons. We'll help them with their homework and extra, maths and literacy skills. And then we do the fun part, which is talent development, which is something very close to Michael and our hearts, because we really feel that we're not just going to be a place where the kids are going to come to be loved on and nurtured. We actually want to develop them. We don't want to just take them off the streets, and this is not a place where we just sort of like occupy their times until they go home, but a place where we really grow them and nurture them. So we're going to be very intentional about what we're going to do with them. We're going to have a dedicated IT room where we can teach them IT skills, where they'll have laptops and computers to be able to do their homework and assignments. We'll have an art room where the kids can be creative, and we all know, especially these kids, they need therapy for all the things that they're facing. And then music, we know that music is also a great therapeutic means, but also something that kids love, and there's so many talents. And so we're bringing people on board that will really do proper programs with them that will take them to a place where there is a hope and a future, where they'll be able to, if you've got an artistic talent, we can go and we can put some pictures up in a gallery. If you've got a musical talent, you can go and be part of an orchestra one day. If you've got a sports talent, I mean, Michael's a coach, he'll speak to you more about that, but we want to bring in scouts that will go and see these kids and, give them an opportunity to take their talent to much greater levels.
So as Jill has touched on the sport, that is my heart, my desire. I've already touched base with so many organizations that are ready to come in and partner with us. And the idea and the concept behind it is, if you think of overseas in the States with a big brother, where you have an environment that has no fathers. So you create that father figure within the homes, the biblical role model. And the idea here is to, through sport, create that through a coach. Coach becomes the mentor mentors the kids on the ground. And if I look at the numbers for other MPOs that have done it, they impact on 750 kids at a time. So that is the vision from our side, and we look forward to it. I mean, it's exciting times.
Yeah, so besides the actual center where we're running all our programs, which is the emotional and life skills and the education and everything, our model as a whole also includes housing development. So we actually give if we find a family that's on our program that is living in a shack and they've got really dire circumstances, we actually provide them with a 3-bedroom house, which we fully furnish for them. A place to raise these kids, a stable environment where they get the emotional support as well as the safety and the security aspect, and just the support of a community. And we also do job creation, which is a very big on our hearts. Because a lot of these omos and gogos that are in the community that are currently looking after these kids are actually they're not even surviving. You know, they've got a big heart and they're taking all these kids in because they just see them either on the street or they're being abused or they know that they're not eating and they just sort of take these kids in. But they themselves are actually, they're not able to even put food on the table for themselves. So where we come in is we want to help them survive. We want to help them go from surviving to actually thriving. And one of the biggest things is job creation, because a lot of these omas don't have jobs. There's a high rate of illiteracy. And so we create these job creation sites on our community site. And we basically let them come in and they work with us for a year. We train them up. They get the experience and then we place them into jobs.
Wow. As you're speaking, I'm just reminded of this parable that says, if you give a man a fish, you continue to feed them. But if you give a man a fishing rod, they can feed themselves. And I just see that you guys are you have that in mind with the center. So it's going to make such a difference. But I'm so excited. So I want to see the center. What is it going to look like? Can you show us the plans?
Well, actually, our architects and engineering partners are here. Gerard and Kirsten, if you can join us.
They're from a company called EMI.
Okay.
So we will look at the plans that they've actually drawn up for us.
Yeah. This is just amazing design. When we started this thing out, we had a drawn out, very sad looking little picture. And it's so amazing to have professional partners like this to come on board and to take our vision and our heart and our dream and our wish list and to be able to actually bring it to life in this amazing graphic over here. And so if we can just give you a brief breakdown. So on the road in front of us over there is the main road that's over here.
Yes.
So this is just the parking area. This is the administration hub where we'll be sitting. We've also made provision for Department of Social Development, who do not have an office in Fisantekraal at the moment. And so this administration hub will include an office, a dedicated office for them, because we do work closely with them in serving this community. And then we've got our junior space over here. So there's a couple of classrooms, and then they've got their own private playground, just because, we don't necessarily want any of the other kids messing with the little ones who can often get under their feet. So we've got a dedicated play area for them. And then we've got a multi-purpose space, sort of like a hall, where we can do group play. And we also use this for training our, the life creation, life skills training and all of those type of things. Fully functional kitchen to be able to feed all of these kids. That's one of the things that's very important to us, is that when the kids come to us in the afternoon, the first thing that we do is give them a hot meal.
Yes.
Oftentimes we find that that's probably the only meal that they're getting that day. Then we've got this space over here, which is for our sort of junior kids. That's the middle phase, sort of grade 4 to 6 age group. And then we've got dedicated IT room, art room and music room for the talent development I spoke to you about earlier. And then this is another hall that we can use for the middle and senior phase. And then these are the classrooms for the senior kids. And then we've got a dedicated space for just over here, which I've asked the police to come in, so a site building, just for security purposes. And then over here we've got where our job creation sites will be.
Okay.
So because of the community of Fisantekraal, we're very specific and intentional about what we're doing there. There is going to be a skills development center, which is going to be just over there, but that's only for men.
Okay.
And so our job creation sites will really be focused on the women of Fisantekraal. So we'll do a bakery, a sewing shop, those type of things, those skills. And then we've accessed it directly onto the road so that the community can also, you know, it will be cross-pollination. They'll be able
Yes.
to sell the cookies and the bread and all
Oh,
of that to the
wow.
community from that area. And then this is Michael's domain,
Yeah.
which is the multi-sport facility.
And the way I look at it, it's like that's the actual heart of this thing. So what it will actually encapsulate is an AstroTurf facility, top end, because we
Yeah.
want excellence.
Yes.
It will be for soccer, for hockey, netball, basketball, whatever the kids are actually into. The idea is to give them every opportunity. And as I said, with the MPOs that I've partnered with, the opportunities here are that they can join academies, they can go overseas, and they can just experience what we would want our kids to experience.
Oh,
So
fantastic.
that is why I'm very excited about it.
So we have Gerard and Castian here, and I just want to ask you, what does EMI do?
So EMI, Engineering Ministries International, is an international group of architects and engineers. And what we do is we provide architecture and engineering services specifically to the mission sector and to the general development sector. So our vision is to see people restored to God and the world restored through design.
Now, partnering with Jill and Michael on this project, why was that something you felt you wanted to do?
I think the specific attraction for me to this project is the three things that come together. It's really the gospel coming together with care for vulnerable and orphan children, but also very specifically then partnering with specific people that we feel a strong connection and tie and vision with. So I think one of the things that we look for is we look for people who are really doing something innovative and new in the space, specifically in the spaces of caring for those people that the Bible commands us to care for. And the widows and orphans are very much part of that. And this model of community-based care, of keeping vulnerable children in their communities, but seeking to transform those communities, seeking to bring the gospel, not only in word, but in deed to those communities, that's really where our hearts are, and that's what we love to partner with.
Now, I love interior design. So when putting this design together, and there's so many different things that's going to be done on this piece of land, what are some of the challenges that you had in putting this perfect picture together?
It was first of all understanding the program, understanding their heart, so being able to actually really bring the design through and not just design any building, but to really make it specific to them. It's also about how do you take their vision and make it into something physical. So how do you love these children? How do you provide the best for these orphans? How do you protect them? How do you give security? How do you physically allow them to be in spaces that will nurture them and grow them where they feel protected, and how to implement that into a built form?
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much for spending time with us today. Now, we've been filled with vision. We've seen the land, we've seen the plans, and there's only excitement that's brewing now. If you'd like to partner with Michael and Jill on this amazing project, then you can find the details on screen. You can partner, you can give, or you can get more information. All the details are on your screen right now. We are so grateful for all the partnerships already on board, and we can't wait to hear from you. That's all from us for this week. Till next time.